start. Sleep versus Maru. Dream versus Byung. First versus Chachi. Viva versus Flash. Innovation versus Hero. Dongnaegu versus Gumiho. Rain versus SonGDuri. Truth versus Kangho. Bomber versus Super. Yongha versus Zoo. Starts now. WCS Korea Season 3 GSL.
Greetings from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to GSL Codas Group G, round of 32. Tasteless is here. How's it going, brother?
I'm in a really great mood today, Tasteless, and you want to know why?
Yes, I do.
Well, I was playing Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons for a long time.
Yeah.
I got to Palace 6, and then I just got busy and didn't play, and I was kind of frustrated in the Palace, so I just didn't pick it up for a while. Remember my Game Boy for or whatever it is called, the DS, for the subway ride down? Started playing, I was like, oh, I remember why I was frustrated.
Yeah.
There's no more keys. I thought I screwed myself on a level. You know, some Zelda games you can do that.
Oh, right, because you can use
a
those,
key on the wrong door.
And on any door, right?
Yeah. So I was sure I'd done that, and I turned off the Game Boy, and I'm like, I have to start that all over? I don't want to do that all over. And then I was sitting at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, Tasteless isn't going to be here for a few more minutes, so I opened it up, and then I walked around, I found another passage, and got another key.
Well, there
Tasteless.
you go, man.
So I'm in a great mood.
You know, there
Thank
was
you
a
for
period
asking.
for our younger viewers where it was actually very easy to just get stuck in a game.
Yeah.
Like, you just...
My second run
Not
through
even
of
just, like,
Link to
grab
the Past on, the 6th Palace or something like that, I used a key on the wrong door. And that was it. That was the end of my save file. There was some graphic
adventure game that I was playing as a kid, and I didn't have a ton of games when I was really, really, really little. Like, my mom would let me put too many on her PC. And there was one where I just didn't have the battery or something like that, but I was already on the Mars part of the game, and you couldn't go back to Earth. And I spent 3 months of my life every day in this game that I later discovered.
Yeah.
That I just had some item because the game was poorly designed and you could just get far enough to not do that. So
I hate things like that.
I've been there. So,
but no, I'm in a great mood because I found my way out of it. So I feel
congratulations.
Thank you. I feel very accomplished today.
Good.
So on top of that, we have a great group today. Rain and 3 Zergs.
Yep.
And that's going to be a blast too.
Yeah.
But mostly, I found another key.
Today is a cool group. As you said, a lot of Zergs here. But so far, this whole season has been really exciting. If you did not see this specific best of 3, check out DRG against Innovation.
Oh, my God.
It was... For Starcraft games, it was
delicious.
So good.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It was actually...
one of the best of 3 TVZs. I would say probably the best...
The best
in the best of 3 TVZ, that was the best one I had ever casted. The most epic. Every single game so good.
I think you're right about that.
Easily one of our best GSL games ever. Or
DRG
series,
is so on the ball. Innovation's still looking completely unbeatable in the matchup against anyone else, but Innovation, but DRG really pushed him to his limits and beyond. Tasteless.
He really did.
Definitely check that one out if you have not yet.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to top best of 3 like that, but we do have a ton of great players here. Today should be pretty good.
Well, yeah, today it has Rain, he made it to the finals last time. He won a season last year.
Yeah.
One of the best Protoss in the world, no doubt about it. Has Kongho, a longtime staple of
formerly
Korea.
known as Lucera, in case you're more familiar with our older stuff.
And then it has a couple other Zergs. True is very dangerous, so he could definitely do some upsets today. And then it has SonGDuri, who, out of the beginning little theme song, has the best pose.
We have talked about this. When you guys see that intro, he's the one that goes like this.
Oh, yeah. No, and he's a badass.
Yeah, man. I don't know about Younghwa's...
Younghwa's isn't... But the thing is, they had Younghwa going like this, and then someone else with a different pacing of it, and it's like, well, this looks really weird. But SonGDuri definitely wins the poses. He looks pretty badass.
He's got the best pose. You got to factor that in. when you're in the group space here.
You have to factor it in.
So here's a look at our players. As we said, Rain against SonGDuri first, and then True against Kongho. They are all best of threes since we're now here in Code S. The last season of the Star League was good, but I love Code S. And I'm so glad we're doing it. It's been a little while since we had done Code S. So
it certainly has been.
I like
it is
our
back.
format.
It's killing. It's kicking
more
ass, Tasteless.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time. And
now, out of all these people to get through, for me, no matter what, I have to go with Rain here.
yeah, you do have to. He's practicing one matchup, and he's shown
solid.
time and again he's better than these three players.
Yeah. More accomplished, more consistent.
You could put Kongho pretty close to him, I think, but
Kongho, if you guys don't remember, when he was using the ID Lucira, got to the finals of a GSL Code S and then lost to Nest-T.
as anyone in the finals of a GSL would do.
Yes.
If they're against Nest-T. I don't care if you put Innovation up there. If he's in the finals against Nest-T, he's getting chokeslam cases.
Yeah, pretty
in
much.
In the words of The Undertaker. Rest in peace.
He makes the other guy the jobber. Yeah, I think this first series should be pretty good, but I'm expecting Rain to win. Now, one thing about Rain is he's very conservative when it comes to his play style as Protoss. Protoss, even more so than the other two races, you see with the very top level, Protoss players that play completely differently from each other.
It's a weird thing.
Completely differently from each other.
And it was the same way in StarCraft 1 as well. So it's... I'm not sure exactly how to describe and explain. I have all sorts of theories in my head, but I could talk about it for an hour, my different ideas of why Protosses are always stylistic at the top.
Yeah, well, I think part of it's that they have to be stylistic. I think you really can't.
The race does certainly function differently than the other races.
Yeah, it functions differently. There's more variables I think a Protoss player can throw in.
True.
And here's SonGDuri. I almost didn't recognize when he had his glasses on him, so you've seen him in that intro.
Yeah.
Now, SonGDuri is very, very good. Yeah.
Bubble Bobble. I told you.
It's the Bubble Bobble guy up there on the
kind of
on his shirt.
It looks like it.
Now, Bubble Bobble, we talked about this before, but I think I got Bubble Bobble. Bubble Bobble was one on Nintendo.
Yes.
Right? And it had that song like do 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 do
yes.
do.
Yeah.
Okay. I played that game. When we were talking about that game, I was thinking of something else.
Okay.
I was thinking of the game where you shoot the balls up that are colored.
Oh,
because they use the Bubble Bobble characters in one of those games, I believe.
Okay.
To operate the cranks at the bottom or something like that. And I think that's where I got that confused. But yeah, Bubble Bobble, great game.
Great game. I was confused when you said it was really hard, and you were surprised that I had beaten it 1,000 times. I'm like, I don't know if it's that hard, but thank you.
That would be a good game to put on Try Hard.
Yeah, it's a fun
Bubble.
one.
Yeah,
it doesn't take long either. You can actually just beat it. You can just sit down and beat it. You know,
is it one of these things you can beat in like 20 minutes or something?
No, not 20, but less than an hour.
Okay. Cool. All right. Here are the stats that we have put together based off the polling from the Korean esports journalists out here. These guys watch more esports than practically anybody, more than actually probably even a lot of our viewers. There's a lot of games to follow. They do.
It is their job.
Yep. To cover every game that's out there. All right. The map is going to be Yeonsu. And it is, in fact, already loading up. It's a one-on-one map. We have a bunch of new maps here. So we're probably going to see a bunch of new different strategies. I think out of this season, we've had more new maps than ever in a Code S. Am I wrong?
I think
so.
Could be right. Maybe season 1. Because it was
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. All right, guys, get ready for our PBZ here at the GSL Code S.
You can tell I'm excited, but my heart is beating. I'm gonna need a riot squad to help control my breathing. Communication.
Over here in the bottom left, we have the only Protoss in this group. He is
SK Telecom T1 Rain.
Over here in the upper right, we have our Zerg the Underdog. He is
CJN2 SonGDuri.
Well, I'm pretty excited for this Tasteless to see how Rain will do in this group. And the thing is, ZVZ can still be quite volatile. You know, I feel like any of these Zergs could beat each other, you know, on a given day.
Well, it's a volatile matchup. By the way, somebody was tweeting at me earlier today asking me what exactly is our sponsor. It's a clothing shop online. They have an English site, so you know. Ian at JOGUNSHOP.com.
Yep.
And I'm spelling that out because I think if I just say it,
yes,
you won't be able to spell it.
Ian.JOGUNSHOP.com.
Yeah, JOGUNSHOP.com.
So check it out. Yeah, they
nice
sponsor
stuff.
the GSL, which is like that's pretty darn important, guys.
It's one of the most important things you can do.
Yeah. You know, it certainly is.
What were you?
I was just trying to think of the things that might be more important. I'm like, well, I guess funding cancer research and stuff like that
Trying to stop Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
things like that.
like health-wise, maybe health is a bit more important. But right after that, this is GSL Korea
like
sponsors.
the next second after that,
just it's not even second. It's like 1.5 on the list.
Wow.
So, well.
Looks like we have Protoss so far taken up. Probably going to do the more modern fast expand here.
It is the build of choice for many. In the meantime, SonGDuri going for a hatchery first and going right into gas and pool. So that's a very safe way to do it. And by the way, guys, you don't have to worry about the cannon rushing on this map. The minerals are fine. There were some problems with whenever a new map pops out. Sometimes it's like cannon rushing is too good on it if the minerals aren't placed just right.
This is something that they don't oftentimes test for when they make new maps.
I think they will.
Cannon rushing's not as it's common, but not as common on pro play. It's common on the ladder. Once in a while, you're just like, this kid is going to do this to me. All right, well, we're not going to play a normal game now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a lot of times they don't check for that, and then you find out like, 2 pylons to block this off and end the game?
Yeah, if it's 2 pylons to block off, then
that's
it's
a bargain.
Game over. And even 3 is pretty strong.
Yeah.
So, anyways, everything looking good. Right into the Stargate play here.
He didn't see that.
No, that pylon was actually placed really well. If he had seen the pylon there, you would have gone back a little bit more, I'm sure.
That's a really good observation. It's so low. He's saying, well, there's nothing back there. I got to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get my Overlord out of here before it gets shot down. Third base now, over here in top center.
Oh, all good to see. I really like SonGDuri's opening here, to tell you the truth, Tasteless. He's gotten the quick speed. He's getting the quick third base. Everything looks good. He's even grabbing a few extra Zerglings, knowing that if he has enough of them out, there's not going to be any pylons on the map, but his Overlord has pretty much checked the timings. He knows that there's tech before those 2 extra gates, so he's not going to be too scared. He's going to be able to drone up.
Well, we got the Lings now coming across the map. Your Protoss is just going to turtle for a little bit here and try to clear out the Overlords on the map. Make that lights out.
Lights out. Protoss is afraid of... or Zerg is afraid of the dark.
It almost flowed right out.
Almost flowed right out.
All right, he needs that was a close force field there.
Well, we're going to have to...
I like this build now a lot more than the Forge fast, just the Forge immediately fast expand, because I feel like it gives Protoss a little bit more control.
Gives them a lot more
early
options,
on.
That's for sure. And by the way,
my God! Wow. He didn't get the gateway up in time.
SonGDuri getting a nice little lead to start, already killing off 2 probes in a sentry? Is that right? Yeah. That's really nice from SonGDuri. And in fact, he's going to get back here, gets to scout everything that's going on.
Yeah, he just wants to keep these Lings alive as long as humanly possible.
That's right.
And make the probes not mine. By the way, Rain a little bit caught off guard, not actually moving his Phoenix around while this is all happening here.
And you know what else, Tasteless? One thing I do want to point out, that force field he did originally was actually a poor force field anyways, because he hit the force field before the Lings damaged. You always point that out when we're casting Nano off, for instance, how you love how he waits till the shields are gone.
Yeah.
Like, those few extra seconds give you the force field a few extra seconds, which sets everything back. And so that was a little bit of a misplay by Rain anyways.
Yeah, a little bit of a misstep. And, I saw that Phoenix that was just parked in the bottom right. I feel like Rain might be a little bit off today.
He could be. It's the first game, and it's not looking so good for him yet. But, nice pickup here on the Queen, at least. Yeah.
He's going to have to do it one more time here, and if he wants to get rid of the Queen. And he does. Let's see what else he could take out over here.
Going to kill off a couple drones. So far, so good with the Phoenixes, but I do like SonGDuri's position a little bit more. As long as he doesn't lose too much more here, he's in pretty good shape, having killed.
He's going to stop at 5 Phoenixes, by the way.
Yeah. looks like. But you know
Was
what?
it first that we saw go up to 10? There was one game we casted, and now...
Actually, I think we saw First do that once, and I think we saw Rain do that once, and in the GSL or WCS Korea.
Yeah, it was WCS Korea, yeah.
Yeah. It's, if you start to do damage with it, especially against 2-base, it's so smart to just keep making them.
Well, you can keep them, stagnant economically.
Yeah,
they're not
exactly.
It's like they're already sort of behind, and now they can never get ahead because... You could just keep sending Phoenixes out. By the way, the Zealot's now coming up here.
Yeah, he waited 2 warp-in rounds here to actually warp in at that pylon behind where his third base is probably going to be. So, Zealot's going up. Nice trick going down by Rain.
Yeah, sending these Zealots in here now. Now, the Spore Crawler is getting in the way, and Roaches are now popping out. Looks like he's going to try to get a pickup there on that Roach. No, in fact, he's not. More Zealots now streaming through here. And if he can get rid of the rest of these drones... he'll be able to get in there with the Phoenixes, but this is a lot of Roaches. Roaches very strong against Zealots.
You know what? This is a ridiculous amount of damage chases. 21 drones killed so far. That's just gigantic. Off of these Zealots, it was a small risk here by Rain to make that many Zealots and send them up, because if there were already Roaches, it wouldn't have worked, but this was fantastic.
Well, the Zealots are already just naturally the most expendable unit for Protoss.
It's true.
So that was a really nice move there by Rain to get in there and do that damage.
And you know what? It's a good choice for this map because the map is so new and so underplayed. Anytime you have a new map, it feels bigger than it actually is because you're not sure exactly how to scout it for things like hidden pylons.
That's a really good observation, Artosis. Yeah, when you're not as comfortable on a map, the map does feel like a bigger, scarier,
it's
confusing
hard to
place.
Think of Belshire Vestige. I remember the first times I was playing that map taste. Ooh,
yeah.
Hold on, though. We actually have the 1 Phoenixes go down right there.
Almost 2.
These 3 Phoenixes becoming on the edge of worthless right now. But,
yeah.
I think back to some maps, even Belshire, which is so small now, so easy to scout every location.
Yeah, sure.
But at first, it feels much bigger, and you don't know, this spot is a good spot for a pylon, and this is, and that is. But... so Rain kind of using that against SonGDuri here.
Yeah. We have the Twilight Council coming down right now. Protoss continuing to tech up. And Rain should be able to keep his third base secure pretty easily right now, especially with the damage that he dealt to SonGDuri. If SonGDuri decides to attack, for instance, that means he's not repairing the damage that was done, which is going to put him at a risk. Somebody like Rain is most likely going to hold.
Well, right now we actually have a lot of Lings and Hydras on the way.
So I guess he is going to attack. So SonGDuri has to do damage with this. Like a substantial amount of damage. Or Rain is going to take a pretty big lead here.
Well, Rain is going to have a Senkin Colossus and Thermal Lance out pretty soon. And he actually has 4 sentries, so I could see him definitely holding this. But hold on, we actually have that attack occurring right now. Some decent force fields going down, but he doesn't really have much more. So he's going to have to be very careful with these units.
All right, he's coming back now, kiting with that Colossus. Okay, and the second Colossus coming up here now. Now the Immortal goes down, which is actually fine because this is Ling Hydra right now.
And he's trying to connect. There you go. The Nexus Cannon does go down.
Weird time warp there. Not exactly well placed. Well, and he basically cleans this up. And like I was saying, if SonGDuri committed to an attack and didn't do damage, it would be very bad for him. And let's see if he can do any more right now, because so far it's been a little bit disappointing from him.
And he's trying to, but, well, actually, you know what? Those Lings getting in on that Colossus have done a lot of damage, and the Colossus!
So, it's okay.
Oh, my God. Oh, if I'm SonGDuri, I am crying right now.
He needs to just keep that Colossus safe. That's so important, man. Oh.
You know,
he's got to be kicking himself for that.
It feels like SonGDuri is trying to play like a DRG style, but with 2 Colossus left alive and the Spire being this late, I don't even know if a Mutalisk tech switch is reasonable. We might see him go into Corruptors. That is always reasonable to go for with a heavy Ling Hydra composition as well. But
yeah, 3 base like
that's
this.
Really, if he had gotten the other Colossus, this game would be in a completely different spot.
Man,
I would still put Rain actually ahead because he does have the third base, but with 2 Colossus out, man.
With units like the Colossus, because they increment out of the Robo, like if you suddenly lose 2 or 3, let's just say the Viking shots or Corruptor shots or something, and it's unacceptable situation to do so. It's not like it was a big battle and they were going to die no matter what.
Yeah.
You are so behind because you will forever for the rest of the game be that number of Colossus behind. As long as production's in order.
And he already has his third Colossus out now. Of course, the shield's healing up. And he's going straight into a War Prism because he does have that +2 and Blink almost done. So looks like Rain is getting ready to get out there on the map.
All right, the Phoenixes continue to patrol around here. Now, this is not for harass. This is just to scout and see what exactly is the Zerg doing. Since the Phoenix numbers are low enough, they're not really useful for harass. Maybe if you could nab a drone that was going to go make a base or something. Or, I guess, pick up a Zergling at a watchtower or something.
That's about it,
That's
right?
about it.
I mean, they might tank a few hits in a battle against Corruptors.
Too bad they can't pick up Creep Tumors. That'd make them much more useful.
Actually, I tell you what, I would go for a lot more Phoenixes if that were the case.
Yeah. Okay, Zerg coming in here now.
Ooh, some very good force fields coming down, but a lot of Corruptors coming in. They do snipe that Hurt Colossus rather quickly.
Now, he might want to consider sniping down the Warp Prism here, as a bunch more units are going to get warped in momentarily. More Stalkers coming up here now. And the rest of the Colossi are gone. Now it is only the Warp Prism that remains, blinking underneath the Corruptors. Now, so Zerg won the battle to beat the Colossus, but may have lost the war that is this game.
Well, he's lost a lot of units here. Now Rain has so many Stalkers. He's continuing to produce them. And SonGDuri, in the meantime, just trying to get out as many Roaches and Hydras as possible to deal with it. But with +2 and Blink, Rain's army is looking really scary.
Backing up now, blinking away. The Sentry's now in the front, but there may just be too many Stalkers if he blinks just right here. Now, that was a big blink away. I was expecting him to blink away only the injured units here.
Well,
but,
this is
I think it's
30 supply
barely
lead.
enough. Yeah. And, there's two situations for Protoss. There's one where they get really behind and are stuck only making Stalkers, and one where they get really, really ahead.
And only make Stalkers.
Yeah, and only make Stalkers. They don't have to, but they can because of the way they're microed, and that's one of these situations now. GG.
Well, that was kind of cut and dry, really. SonGDuri tried to get that damage in after taking so much. The Zealot Warpin is really what got him. We can look at the other pieces of the game and be like, oh, he missed that Colossus, he didn't do crucial damage with that attack.
Sure.
All these different things, but really it comes down to the initial Warpin of Zealots that was unexpected because the gateways, normally if you're going to do something like that, you'll grab the gateways before and do a quicker one, but it was like a later one that was unscouted. So I'm going to chalk that one up to the map hasn't been played enough for SonGDuri to have every scout location perfectly mapped out.
Yeah. I think it's a comfort thing.
I think so.
Our next map's going to be Derelict Watcher.
He's going to be a lot more comfortable on this map. This map, even though it's a big map, it feels a lot smaller, I would say, for finding those pylons.
Yeah, there's less, well, this would make sense. There's less geography, but geography is always going to be there. There's less architecture.
Okay, that's
on the map.
There's less topography.
No.
I'm trying to work with your graphy.
Well, it's simpler in the middle. It's simple. There's less to think about.
Less cliffography.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. It looks like the map's now loading up. So get ready. Let's see if Rain, the favorite here, closes this out 2-0, or if SonGDuri comes back here, brings us to game number 3 in the best esports show of all time, undisputed. Here in the round of 32, this is the GSL Code S.